A very good morning and welcome to Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Second massive quake in less than 3 weeks leaves Nepal rattled. Over 50 people killed and thousands injured after Tuesday's series of quakes. Bihar bears the brunt in India following the fresh round of tremors. 15 people killed in the state. Chief Minister orders schools to shut for summer break. Relentless opposition protest forces government to send land and GST bills to parliamentary panels as the session draws to an end today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to begin China visit tomorrow. Deals worth $20 billion expected to be signed. And no breakthrough in US-Russia talks over Ukraine crisis. Both sides agreed to resolve the conflict through peaceful means. Well, more than 50 people have died and thousands more injured as Nepal was struck by a series of earthquakes since Tuesday afternoon. The quake has sent the country into panic once again as it struggles to recuperate from the massive quake that came just 17 days ago. The second set of quakes have further weakened several buildings, prompting survivors to return to makeshift camps for safety.
मानव जातिले बिरलै भोग्नु पर्ने
The nightmares of 25th April earthquake returned to haunt Nepal once again on Tuesday. A massive 7.3 quake followed by several aftershocks have sent panic waves among survivors. Weakened buildings collapsed at several places, leaving over 50 people dead and thousands injured.
भूकंप आ रहा है तो सब डर लग रहा है डर है अभी मन में बहुत ठुला डर है तो कैसे चल जाइए
This time it was very big and I was afraid that what happened to my house or something like hope nothing was happened in my home, so I just ran here. I was very scared at that time.
At a time when the nation is trying to rebuild and rehabilitate its people, the second set of quakes has left many shaken up. Even the several organizations working in Nepal took stock of the situation after the fresh tremors.
We just initiated a rapid assessment and response to this recent earthquake, which happened in the eastern part of the country. We wanted to quickly determine whether staff was safe, whether there had been any impact to our operations, our ongoing operations, and also get a sense of if there were new areas that were impacted by this recent 7.4 magnitude quake.
Survivors of the 25th April quake who had started to return home are now back in makeshift camps to be safe. The series of quakes in Nepal within 3 weeks have left even the United Nations bothered.
र हामी अब सानो बच्चाहरु छन् त्यसै कारणले पानीको लागि उगाउनलाई केही सुरक्षित हुन्छ भनेर फेरि यही टुरी खेलमा आएर हामी फेरि त्यही स्थानमा हामी पाल बनाएर बसिरहेका छौं.
The first one came out as a red alert. Red alert is like the first one we had in April. That means that it's very severe earthquake. It's in a highly populated area. So honestly, right now we fear the worst.
As before, India responded quickly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi directed all authorities to be on alert for rescue and relief operations if required, while the Home Minister said the government and NDRF were prepared for any eventuality. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The fresh series of quakes to hit Nepal also shook several places in North and East India. This time too, Bihar was the worst affected state with at least 15 casualties. The death toll could rise once a complete assessment of the damage is done.
Bihar bears the brunt again for Tuesday's 7.3 magnitude quake that was centered in Nepal. The earthquake was centered 68 kilometers west of the town of Namche Bazar, close to Mount Everest and the border with Tibet. The death toll in Bihar following the latest tremors stands at 15. As per confirmed reports, 3 people died in Patna, 3 in East Champaran, 2 each in Purnia and Darbhanga, and 1 each in Sitamarhi and Siwan.
हाँ, घर में सोए हुए थे। उनकी माँ एक बार बोली कि बेटा भाग, भूकंप आ रहा है। उसी समय वो सोए हुए थे, अब उठ के भागे तो टकरा गए। किस तरह से टकराए और कैसे ब्रेन फटा, ये आदमी अभी तक सस्पेंस में है।
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar said officials are trying to ascertain the exact extent of damage.
Confirmed 6 deaths का है, लेकिन सूचना 15 की है। एक-एक पर लोग जाकर उसको वेरीफाई कर ले रहे हैं और सब लोगों को तत्काल जो मदद देनी है उनके परिवार को तत्काल मदद पहुंचाई जा रही है।
The Chief Minister also ordered shutting down of schools for summer vacations in advance from today. Strong tremors were not only felt in Bihar but also in UP, Delhi and several other parts of North India. 1 death has been reported in Uttar Pradesh as well. Some reports say even Chennai felt the ground shaking. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed the situation in the aftermath of the fresh quake and directed the authorities concerned to be on alert to rush in relief and carry out rescue operations wherever necessary. The Home Ministry is also collecting information from the states about the damage caused, and the National Disaster Response Force has been put on alert as there are fears of aftershocks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in news from Parliament, the Lok Sabha has decided to refer the Land Acquisition Amendment Bill to the Joint Committee of Parliament after a debate in which all the main opposition parties attacked the NDA government for pushing forward what they called an anti-farmer bill.
It was the second occasion in this budget session that the Land Acquisition Amendment Bill was discussed in Parliament. After replying to the debate, Union Minister Birender Singh proposed to send the bill to Parliamentary Joint Committee. The committee will have 20 members from the Lok Sabha and 10 from the Rajya Sabha. Defending the bill, Birender Singh said his government's priority was to develop and create employment opportunities for farmers.
अगर राजनीतिक दलों में या और किसी संस्था में कोई भी इस बिल में कोई सुधारात्मक बात करने की किसान के हित में, तो हमारे को उसमें कोई ऐतराज नहीं है और मुझे लगता है कि कमेटी में ये सारी बातें डिस्कस होंगी और इसके अच्छे परिणाम आएंगे.
Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu also backed the bill. The debate on the bill was started with Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi. He charged the government with completely altering the 2013 legislature into something that was totally anti-farmer.
Land bill को लाने में हमें तकरीबन 2 साल लगे और एनडीए सरकार ने कुछ ही दिनों में उस बिल की हत्या कर दी.
Besides the Congress, the Trinamool Congress, the Rashtriya Janata Dal, the Samajwadi Party, the CPI and the CPIM also opposed the bill.
आज पूरे दुनिया में आप अगर नागरिक अधिकार को और जो हमारा संविधान में जो मौलिक अधिकार के रूप में दिया हुआ है उसको अगर बुनियादी हक को मानते हैं तो आप उसका सहमति लेंगे नहीं. आप किसी पूंजीपति के बड़े बड़े सरमाया के आप सरमाया को या पूंजी को या कारखाने को ले सकते हैं उनके सहमति के बिना, लेकिन किसान को आप इतना लाचार समझ रहे हो कि आप कानून ले आओगे और उसके सहमति के बिना उसके जमीन को ले लोगे.
NDA ally the Shiv Sena also opposed the bill. The Joint Parliamentary Committee will now have to return the bill in the first week of the monsoon session. This is Shyam Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the Rajya Sabha also referred the GST bill to a select committee. The panel will be headed by BJP's Bhupendra Yadav. It has been asked to report to the Rajya Sabha on the last day of the first week of the monsoon session.
The government and opposition parties on Tuesday agreed to refer the Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill 2014 on Goods and Services Tax to a 21-member select committee of the Rajya Sabha.
Revised Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill 2014. Sri Arun Jaitley to move that the Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill 2014 as passed by Lok Sabha be referred to select committee of the Rajya Sabha.
Members of major political parties will be represented in the committee. The panel will submit its report on the last day of the first week of the next session.
Sir, that the bill further to amend the Constitution of India as passed by the Lok Sabha be referred to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha consisting of the following members: Shri Bhupendra Yadav, Dr. Chandan Mitra, Shri Ajay Sancheti, Shri Madhusudan Mistry, Shri Manishankar Iyer, Dr. Balachandra Mungekar, Shri Naresh Agrawal, Shri K.C. Tyagi, Shri Derek O'Brien.
The Lok Sabha passed the Constitution Amendment Bill originally mooted by the UPA on 6th of May. The GST that is proposed to be implemented from 1st of April 2016 will subsume excise, service tax, state VAT, entry tax, octroi and other state levies. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And we are being joined in the studio this morning by Mr. Parsa Venkateshwar Rao Jr., editorial consultant at the DNA. A very good morning, sir. Now that we've seen the government has succumbed to opposition pressure, largely succumbed, I would say, and sent two of the crucial bills, the land bill and the GST bill, to separate committees. Do we see an end to the logjam in Parliament? Do we see on the last day today business being conducted as usual?
Yeah, immediately I think there is not much business to be done. I think some debate will take place, perhaps some minor bill will be looked at. But I find disturbing something about this land bill, you know. There is a procedural irregularity about it. Remember, the land acquisition bill amendment was passed by the Lok Sabha and it was not passed by the Rajya Sabha. So when the Parliament budget session went into recess, the government went on to prorogue the Rajya Sabha in order to re-promulgate the ordinance. Now, after the session recommences Lok Sabha, the government comes back to the Lok Sabha with the new ordinance, because they have to submit to the Lok Sabha the new ordinance. And now they again start a bill and again they referred. How can you refer a bill to a joint parliamentary committee from Lok Sabha after the Lok Sabha has passed the bill?
Passed it, right.
So unless you have changed something and you bring out a new bill, and that is what they did. They brought the second amendment bill to Lok Sabha, which shows that the government didn't do its homework properly, and unfortunately that it's a very big faux pas. It should have been done right at the beginning instead of trying to rush it through, that yield to the opposition demand, whether right or wrong, reasonable or unreasonable, take the House into confidence, and it should have been referred to the standing committee right in the first place. After going through all these ordinance tamasha, which is very unfortunate, which no government should do, much less it is not a question of it's a Congress government or the BJP government. Ordinances is a very wrong way of pushing through a policy legislation, and ordinance is only for an administrative purpose. When the parliament is not in session, that you have to do it something immediately. But once the parliament comes into session, the constitution says that the bill has to be presented before the parliament. Now, when the parliament has taken cognizance of it, the government should not go back and reissue an ordinance. Unfortunately, constitutional experts have cited the technicalities of law to say, okay, it doesn't matter, ordinance can be repromulgated even if the issue is before Parliament. And I think this needs to be looked into, and it's very unfortunate.
So right now for the Congress, it's a win-win situation, because they obviously want to delay the bill further. Given the current scenario, do you think such a scenario is going to prevail even in the monsoon session, or will it be a smooth ride for both these bills?
Let us look at this carefully. In the sense, it is not just the Congress that is unhappy with the... Congress is the main opposition party. They would want to oppose the bill because it tampers with their version of the bill as they passed. But it is also the BJP's allies like Shiv Sena who are not too happy with the bill.
Right.
So I think somewhere the government did not do its homework. It sort of was in a desperate hurry, which it could have avoided. Same with the GST bill. GST bill, perhaps the arguments offered by the finance minister that GST bill has gone through a standing committee already. The recommendations were taken into consideration and incorporated into the bill, was passed by the Lok Sabha. Now, Rajya Sabha wants it to be sent to the select committee. Now, if the select committee recommends changes and the Rajya Sabha adopts a changed bill, then it has to come back to Lok Sabha again to be passed. So this rigmarole could have been avoided had they shown a little more patience and taken all the parties into confidence.
It looked like the last resort which the government had, considering that there was just one day left for the session to end.
Yeah, they had to yield ground, and of course it's a good thing. I wouldn't say it's a loss of face for the government, because in parliamentary democracy I think you have to go along with the other parties, and it's good that the government took the right path.
Right. And also now, because key bills like the black money bill, the juvenile justice bill, all these are pending, and the protests by the Congress are going to continue again over the Nitin Gadkari issue. Do you think these two bills could see light of the day today, considering it's the last day of the budget session?
I'm not too sure that they will let it pass, but the government will make a desperate attempt to pass, go through, because I don't think many parties have any serious objection to these two bills.
Because the Congress strategy looks just like to disrupt and stall proceedings.
Absolutely. I mean, it is doing the using the same political tactics which the BJP used when it was in opposition.
Right, so it's coming in full circle for the BJP.
It's a bad precedent to be set by any party, but I don't think any party would learn. They want to, they are very they're quite short-sighted. They want to score immediate brownie points.
All right, Mr. Rao, thank you so much for joining us this morning with those details. So on the last day of the budget session, we'll have to wait and watch and see whether these two and several crucial bills can be passed and the government has something to show. Meanwhile, let's slip into a very short break here, but coming up after the break, 4 new governors appointed by the President, while 2 others have been transferred. More on that when we return. Please stay with us.
As science beckons India into the future, Rajya Sabha television partakes the responsibility, bringing technology to the Indian people.
Let's take a look at various important science events in the country,
monitoring scientific advances as they unravel.
Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has proposed a complete ban on fossil fuels.
Welcome to Eureka.
Interviewing the country's greatest minds. Project the power of science to benefit and transform India. Rajya Sabha Television, democracy at work.
Welcome back. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. Let's now take a look at all the important events lined up for today in our segment, The Day Ahead. Former Gujarat Chief Secretary Achal Kumar Jyoti will take charge as the new Election Commissioner today. He will have a term of around 3 years till he turns 65. His appointment was necessitated after Naseem Zaidi was appointed as the Chief Election Commissioner, replacing H.S. Brahma. The Election Commissioner still has a vacancy for one more post in the 3-member commission. US President Barack Obama will meet leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council at the White House today. The 6-member nations of the GCC include Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE and Oman. Saudi King Salman, however, will not attend the meeting. The escalating crisis in Yemen and Syria, as well as the Iran nuclear talks, are expected to top the agenda of the meeting. The 68th Cannes International Film Festival begins today. Thousands of journalists, film professionals and onlookers have flocked to be part of the annual star-studded fest. As many as 19 films will compete for the best film, the Palme d'Or. Joel and Ethan Cohen have been announced as the presidents of the jury for the main competition. The Indian badminton team led by Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth will face 3-time champions Korea today in a must-win clash at the prestigious Sudirman Cup. It's going to be an uphill task as Korea are a formidable side with world number 5 Won Ho-son and world number 7 Sung Ji-hyun likely to turn up for the men's and women's singles match respectively. Only 2 teams will qualify from each of the 4 pools in Group 1 of the knockout stage. And President Pranab Mukherjee has appointed 4 new governors and transferred 2 others on Tuesday. BJP leader from Odisha, Draupadi Murmu, has been appointed as the new governor of Jharkhand. She's been an active member of the BJP and contested many elections. She was also an MLA from Odisha's Rairangpur constituency in 2000. Another senior BJP leader from West Bengal, Tathagat Roy, has been named the governor of Tripura. He had unsuccessfully contested the Lok Sabha elections from Kolkata Dakshin constituency in the year 2014. BJP National Executive member V. Shangmuthan has been appointed as the governor of Meghalaya, while former Assam Chief Secretary J.P. Rakhova has been named the governor of Arunachal Pradesh. Two governors appointed by the UPA government have also been transferred. Jharkhand Governor Syed Ahmed has been shifted to Manipur, while the governor of Arunachal Pradesh Nirbhay Sharma has been sent to Mizoram. However, vacancies for governors still remain in Bihar, Assam, Telangana and Himachal Pradesh. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's maiden visit to China starting Thursday will focus on trade, strengthening trade and economic ties. Deals worth $20 billion are expected to be signed as Modi is expected to make a push for larger Chinese investments and greater market access in India. After China, Modi will head to South Korea and Mongolia. Here's more.
Prime Minister Modi starts on his 5-day trip to China, South Korea and Mongolia from Thursday. The first leg of his visit will focus on cementing India's relationship with China by leveraging growing trade and economic ties. Indian and Chinese private companies are expected to sign business deals worth $20 billion. Trade between India and China has risen to almost $70 billion a year, although India's trade deficit with China has climbed to over $40 billion.
On the trade side, we think it's completely conceivable that China imports more from India. There are many areas where India is globally competitive, but somehow we've not been able to be successful in the Chinese market. Trade has to be found by more enlightened regulatory practices which would create a better trade balance.
Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping are also expected to address the border issue, a major irritant that overshadowed Xi's visit to New Delhi last year. Despite serious differences on the issue, India says both sides are making efforts to ensure that peace prevails. On 14th of May, Modi will meet Chinese President in his hometown Xi'an. The meeting will be followed by an official meeting between the two leaders in Beijing on 15th of May and another interaction in Shanghai. Later, Modi is also scheduled to have discussions with top CEOs of Chinese firms.
The border discussions took place when the special representatives met in March. That was the 18th round. It was the first round after this government came into office. So what is happening on the border is discussions take place, but they are, until and unless they reach a stage when there is a degree of finality about it, generally you don't give interim readouts publicly.
The two sides are also expected to finalize agreements in the rail sector as China seeks to cash in on Prime Minister Modi's vision of modernizing the world's biggest network of railways. After China, Modi will travel to South Korea, a visit aimed at bringing in more investments in the infrastructure sector. In Mongolia, Modi will address the country's parliament and sign an agreement that will allow India's border security force to train border guards of the country locked between China and Russia. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On the international front, despite existing differences, US and Russia are hopeful to resolve the Ukraine crisis, among other issues. US Secretary of State John Kerry's talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin did not offer any concrete sign of progress. However, they expressed a shared conviction. Both agreed that the best way forward is through peaceful means.
US Secretary of State John Kerry's visit to Russia was the first high-level trip by a US official since the Ukraine crisis began. Relations between the two countries deteriorated sharply since then. Kerry held talks with the Russian leadership, including President Vladimir Putin, for about 8 hours on Tuesday. The talks were largely set to gauge Russia's willingness to resolve the Ukraine crisis. Both sides agreed that it is important to keep negotiations on track and prevent ceasefire violations.
I reiterated America's view that the Minsk agreements are absolutely, in our judgment, by far the best path, the principal path to peace. And those agreements must be fully implemented. The sooner, the better. I certainly called attention to the fact that whichever side is responsible for firing the first shot, there is not yet a full implementation of the ceasefire that was contemplated by Minsk, and we need to work harder in order to try to see that be put into full effect.
Между Россией и США существуют определенные разногласия в том, что касается генезиса этого кризиса и нынешних оценок его развития, но мы были однозначно едины в необходимости решать эту проблему исключительно мирным путем.
Kerry also hinted that US and EU sanctions imposed on Russia could be scaled down if it complied with the Minsk plans. The agreement calls for withdrawing all heavy weaponry and respecting Ukraine's border.
If and when Minsk is fully implemented, it is clear the US and EU sanctions can begin to be rolled back.
Russia said it is ready to cooperate with the United States, but only on an equal basis and without coercion. Kerry will attend the NATO foreign ministers meeting in Turkey today, where the Ukraine crisis will be top on agenda. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for more international news and updates, let's take you through the world wrap. United Nations has urged all parties in the Yemen conflict to observe the 5-day ceasefire set to begin tonight. The UN wants ceasefire to be maintained to allow urgent delivery of humanitarian aid. UNHRC said thousands of victims in the conflict are in need of assistance. Fighting intensified in Yemen as Saudi-led airstrikes hit the capital Sana'a just hours before the ceasefire began. Nuclear talks between Iran and 6 world powers resumed on Tuesday in Vienna. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi expressed hope that the new round of diplomacy would yield constructive results. Diplomats are trying to fill gaps in the 2nd April Framework Pact before the self-imposed deadline for a final deal to curtail Iran's atomic program expires on the 30th of June. Protesters took to the streets in Bangladesh after another blogger, Ananta Bijoy Das, was hacked to death on Tuesday. This is the third such killing in less than 3 months. Police say Das was attacked by 4 assailants in Sylhet. His widow too suffered head injuries. Das wrote for a website propagating rationalism and opposing fundamentalism that was founded by US-based blogger Avijit Roy, who killed himself in February. And now for all the sports update, here's the sports beat. Barcelona sailed to the final of the Champions League despite a 3-2 loss to Bayern Munich in the second leg of their semi-final on Tuesday. Barcelona won 5-3 on aggregate to reach the final to be played in Berlin on the 6th of June. Neymar scored twice for Barca in the opening half hour, ensuring Bayern cannot erase the 3-goal deficit in the first leg. This will be Barcelona's first appearance in the Champions League final since their 2011 victory over Manchester United at Wembley. Defending champions Real Madrid will take on Italian club Juventus tonight in the second leg of the second semi-final in the Champions League. Juventus will visit the Santiago Bernabeu holding a 2-1 lead from the first leg in Turin. Real Madrid's away goal means a 1-0 win would be enough to see the holders through to the final in Berlin next month. Defending champion Novak Djokovic scraped past his first hurdle at the Rome Masters with a 6-1, 6-7, 6-3 victory over Spain's Nicolas Almagro on Tuesday. Djokovic was given a bye into the second round. This was his 18th consecutive tour victory. Djokovic will next face another Spaniard, Roberto Agut, in the third round. That's it from us this morning. Have a nice day.